So it's an economical flyer, especially on the 6S 4000. As a Delta, it doesn't need a lot of power to stay in the air. I'm keeping the nose up for a long time, a great portion of this flight.
Welcome back to Motion RC. This is your pilot Ryan. We're getting ready to dive into the assembly video for the Mirage 2000, the updated paint scheme version with the Tiger Meat high visibility scheme. It's been a while since I built one of these, so I'm actually anxious to tear into the box and get it going. But I'm very happy about the high visibility scheme. And if I remember right, I'm going to refer to my old video too for notes, but I'm pretty sure I went with lower rates than was called for, and I'll make sure to give you that information. And it's Sunday, it's raining, so let's get this thing built. There's nothing to it, and it's a very special aircraft just because it's like as true as a Delta gets. I mean, this thing is like a triangle. I call it a watermelon seed that's greased up. I mean, it's just slicker than it gets and flies through the air with the greatest of ease. I think this is a great jet to get the nose up and just keep it dirty, and it's the only way you're going to go slow, because if you try to glide it in, you're going to be moving pretty quick. So this is a great jet for figuring out how to push with the throttle and hold that nose up, and you can bring it in nice and slow. So this thing has definitely got some high alpha potential, and I remember doing gyro videos on the last one, and we also flew it straight up. I'm gonna put that Admiral gyro in here this time and do the same thing. Gyro on, gyro off, probably show you everything it'll do. It's kind of nice to flip that gyro on when you're gonna get slow and dirty and just nose up. This thing's gonna be sweet. I can't wait to get it up, and let's get it built first, shall we? Here we go. So first things first, let's go ahead and get this tail cone on. Now, this plane had to be assembled and then disassembled and shipped to get it here to us for the show. So there's some key-in tabs that I don't get to align with because they're cut off and in there. So what you would see is a couple little knobs, so to say, that would make it obvious where it goes. I mean, it's still obvious anyway, but that's what we're looking at. So I just have to make sure I line it up, no big deal. But yours, of course, will not be pre-assembled and taken apart like mine has expertly been done. So same as it ever was, I'm going with foam tack, my standby favorite. Oh yeah. That's a good bit there. And we'll stick it on. Line it up. Pull it off. See the strings here? That's pretty good. And we'll let that sit for about 90 seconds is the rule of thumb. 90. And then here we go. Going right back on. We'll go ahead and give it a little tape right there. Why not? Make sure it's lined up really good. Oh yeah. And while I'm doing it, I'm gonna go ahead and glue in these pieces as well. That's how that goes right there. Beautiful. And again, yours will not have been assembled and disassembled like mine, but you can, I like to kind of sometimes scuff, the paint's already off of these, which is great, but I like to kind of scuff these up and things of that nature. Make sure it's mated really well. Oh yeah. Pull it off. Give it that 90 seconds. And then do the other side. Make sure it looks good to you. Nice. And then what I like to do is walk away. Make sure it looks the way you want it to. Awesome. Everything's lined up great. Now while I'm gluing things, let's go ahead and get these pylons on. These are easy peasy. And that's probably enough for both of them. There you go. Those will dry up nicely, and we're ready to assemble this baby. So now before I get completely set, it's not a bad idea to get the rudder in place. Make sure things are lined up, and you can get the screws sunk and call that a day. By the way, it's a big water slide decal that is making the paint scheme on this, which is really neat, and they've done a great job with it because it's a big complex job actually. So your rudder lead is already there. It was taped down. Take this opportunity to check your connection, make sure you like your bullet to ESC to motor connection with the bullets. If you want to heat shrink them or tape them up, now's a good time to do it. Of course, you can always remove the rudder and do that. And of course, there's access to the fan underneath as well. I remember I did this last time. I like to get the rudder in place, and there will be one screw that comes up through here from underneath the fuselage to sink this. So it's a real neat union and marriage here between this aft end that you have to glue and the fixed portion of the molded fuselage. So noting polarity, orange to orange, some people call it yellow, brown to brown. Make sure it's in there all the way. Some of you may want to secure it otherwise. If it feels loose, then you should. You've You can grab the lead up here in the fuse. There's a Y connector with the rudder because you're also going to have the nose wheel, of course, on that as well. Make sure you're not obstructed. Get that wire out of the way for your rudder servo. That'll help you to sit down really nice. All right, good. Tapered, like countersink style flat head are what you're going to use for right here, and then the other screws are all the same size. They're bigger, and that's what you're going to use for the wing and the rudder from underneath attachment. And you ought to see that tighten up really nice. Now you may need a longer screwdriver to get this one on the bottom, but also, you know, our tail cone's looking really good. We've done a good job of getting it installed, and we're not having any problems getting this plane together. So here is gonna be the screw there that gets that one piece on the bottom that I showed you before I put it together. I just know I don't have the right screwdriver for this. Let's see. There we go. Now you gotta kind of feel. Super important to have a long enough screwdriver. Can you hear it? I got it. Sweet. And it'll bottom out. Once it's tough to turn, you're done. I mean, it's done. I've bottomed out. First try. Yes. Success. Check that out, people. Oh yeah. Man, we are moving along. Now here you can see we're prepping for the wing. It's gonna screw here and there, in there, to attach the wing to the fuselage. Our leads are already here, which is great. And then the spar goes there. Of course, there's the cheater and access to the 9-blade fan. Just awesome. I'm sorry, this is the spar that we use. The wing already has this spar in it. And all you have to do is unfurl your leads right here for the landing gear and the aileron, which is also the elevator in this situation, and get it up through the fuse. And if you have a go get 'em wire, or if it comes with a go get 'em wire, it's a great place to use it. Although it's not necessary because it is pretty cavernous in there, getting your wires in won't be a huge problem. So we'll go ahead and nurse this go get 'em wire. Through. I can see it right there. Okay, here we go. Nice. So that's going to be for the landing gear right here. So we're going to take this opportunity to go ahead and run both these long ones right now. Line that hole up and just kind of pump the brakes. And we will get this lead ready to go right here. And then we can pull both the landing gear through at the same time. Let's do it. Brilliant. Next, get a little closer now. And we're going to get one side in and worry about the other in a minute. Beautiful. Should be no obstructions either. All the holes are lining up. So I was completely wrong. Early sample, I didn't know they're not labeled. The short leads are completely the landing gear, right? So you do have to either use a servo tester or get these connections made ahead of time, or like me, you'll be sorry, because I got everything buttoned up and I wasn't ready yet at that time. So noting polarity, the short leads are the landing gear. And the long leads are the aileron servos, which also will double for your elevator. And since we got this side ready to go, we'll get it all tucked away. Do this again. Keeping the wires out of the way. Feels good. And nice. See if we can button this up and fix her up and get her on the wheels before I run out of battery. Okay. Now let's figure out this wiring and get this gear down. Alright. Alright, so I got it sorted out. Here's the landing gear. Nice. So there's some grand opportunity for tucking these wires in better that I will take here in a while. And this tape's been cut, so I can put a new piece of tape down over these wires to hold them in here. This gets them into the fuselage, and I've already got them run, obviously. And if I haven't said so already, I did misspeak earlier when I said that I assumed that the long leads, for whatever reason, were for the landing gear. And so I ran them up first, but they're the ailerons. So it's the short gear, the short wires that are waiting for you to connect, that are the extensions for the landing gear, which converge on a Y because you're going to have to operate also the nose, right? So here we go. Let's cycle these bad boys. Super nice. Trailing links on the mains. Oleo on the nose. Nice. Steering's in check. Again, trailing links. These are great, by the way. Can you see them in action there? Now it's time to flip it over and get the throws right. Like I said, I'm going to go with the Admiral receiver. I just bound it up on Futaba to check my engine to make sure it was going the right way and also get these gear down. But now I'm going to go for that Admiral receiver. Whether or not I use the gyro has yet to be seen. Let's go. Let's see. Pilots, that concludes the build portion of the Tiger Meat Mirage 2000 new 9-blade power system. There's just a couple little things to glue on, which I might wait for until the show. This is the refueling nozzle, which fits very smartly right up in the receptacle for that. And look at that. I think I even did a magnet with the other one. And then of course the tanks look fantastic on the aircraft as well, but I'm not going to put them on right now. Isn't that cool? So I just got to set up my radio, and we'll talk more about that later, probably for the flight review and stuff. Again, refer to the original video we did on the 80mm Mirage and listen to the speak about throws, because it's a pretty sensitive aircraft, right? So this isn't a first jet by any means, and it's very important to go with, I would say, the recommendations we put out in that video are a great starting point. So, because you don't want things to be too responsive right away, and I throw out millimeters and things like that in that video, which is a great resource, and we'll see if we can also, you know, expunge upon that later as well. But hey, it's Sunday. My kids are up there running around. Like, I'm gonna go hang out with them. But this thing is ready to rock. All I gotta do is the throws. And stay tuned to all of our social media outlets, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, at motionrc.com to see this thing in action. It's a slippery little booger, and at least now we can see it. I really love this high-vis scheme, and it's been a long time coming, I think, right? I mean, this is, how can you deny this scheme is something else impacting. This is your pilot, Ryan. Thanks for coming over. We will see you next time. See ya.